Okay. So, my name's Melissa Deal, and I'm here with Shawna today and this horse Eclipse. He's a 14-year-old Trakehner, and he has a lot of fear issues. He was originally started to be a 5-year-old FEI horse, and that didn't go very well for him. So, he's had Seattle slew basket surgery. He has a basket between cervical vertebrae in his neck, and that does affect sometimes his behavior and also his just physical comfort, which I think the two are always hooked together. And I would love to say we were going to get out here and do a lot of fancy stuff today, but we're just going to do what's best for Eclipse. So we're just going to start warming him up, and Shauna's going to help me and see what we can tweak.
Perfect.
And keep him happy. That's the most important thing. And he's not used to somebody being in here, so he may just be like, oh, I love you.
And we do have our own history a little bit. They don't forget.
All right, can you? So basically what I do is just kind of start him a little bit kind of long and low. And again, he's had 10 days off, right, until today's his first day back. So he's probably not going to come quite as lovely as I would like for him to. And I would love for my stirrups to be a skosh longer, but I don't think on a windy, fresh day today is the day for that. So, oh, good boy. And what I really would like from him, and I don't know that he'll be in that place today, but what I really like for him to be is soft and relaxed and swingy through the top line and through the back in all of his movements. Good. My clicker's a little high on my whip. There we go. Oops, he knows that sound. Good boy.
But
Yeah.
that never bothers me. I think that when we give them, don't give them another cue, I think it's okay to say, yeah, stop. So it doesn't bother me a bit. And I like that he's still quite responsive to it.
All right. I'm just checking my brakes here just because it's so fresh. Good boy, yes. And I'll just kind of have a little walk, trot, canter in each direction. If you see something that we can work on or you want to talk about, just let me know. Good. Hey! That's interesting. I guess I don't use the clicker very much unless I'm doing something new, like leg yields or something. I normally just use a verbal bridge signal, and I'm not used to having to ride him through that click like that.
Which is, and never bothers me as long as they'll listen and go forward when you ask. But I like even, one of the things I think that new people a lot of times forget I like it to be that strong. His response to be that strong, as long as he then can learn to, that was good, but let's keep going. But I think it's really good. And people at the very beginning, when they don't understand, often find that disconcerting. I'm like, no, he should have that sort of mental reaction to it. It's just, them managing how you do it, but it's caught you off guard a little bit.
Yeah. So what I just did right there was I said YES, right? And that is also a stop and feed word. I have another word that I ride through. So if I say good, that means keep going, and that's a bridge. If I say yes because I don't have a clicker, like at a horse show or something, then that means you can stop and feed.
Okay.
So that way he's very clear on, we stop and feed for this, and we ride on for that.
Yes. I mean, not really.
Can you answer? Now don't sit on his back right out of the box because he just can't. He can't take it. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Good boy. Now I have an idea of something that we could do.
Yeah.
So one of the things that needs to be better with him is leg yield.
Okay.
So it might be neat to look at the leg yield using the clicker at the walk and stuff and just kind of build on that a little bit. He's very
And
good in
so,
one direction, in the easy physical direction, and then not nearly as good in the other direction that's physically harder.
okay, so what I'm gonna say, suggest that we do is do it at the best side first, but break it down to those little steps. So click and reinforce him. You can reinforce him less for the better side, but click and reinforce him for those little steps so he gets his mind kind of engaged in thinking about each of those movements, and then we can go to the tougher side for him.
Okay.
So that we kind of have him going, yep, I get what we're doing, and it can a lot of times then can transfer over, generalize a little bit, make it a little bit easier to figure out the question for the next side. And break it down to the little places where you start to feel that responsiveness, but particularly thinking about the area on the other side where he gets hung up.
Okay.
So if you know it's like at the third step or it's the first bending in or whatever it might be that you're feeling is the trickier side for him, I would bridge and reinforce that on the good side, or pay more attention to the reinforcement on the better side, so that he at that juncture, he kind of thinks a little bit more about that particular movement was quite reinforced.
So and I just want to make sure I'm clear. You're saying on the good side that I should really make sure and reinforce what's difficult on the bad side.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, he didn't really have much warm up, but I think for this exercise, I'll be fine.
Yeah. And it's not, and then I know a lot of times people say, yeah, but he's good on this side. But still, by helping him and building a stronger reinforcement history with the best side and that motion and the movement unto itself, a lot of times it will carry over
Oh,
to the
wow.
other side.
Okay.
So when people say, yeah, he doesn't have a problem going forward at the walk, it's like, I know, but the stronger the reinforcement history with going forward, period, the more it will carry into the bigger gaits,
Good.
because he already likes the behavior. So that carries over also for things like on one side it's better than the other, and so you can help build the reinforcement on the one side and then go to the other side.
Okay. So shall we do that maybe once more at the walk and then look at the trot in the
Yes.
good direction, or would you rather go walk in the bad
No, I
direction?
think walk.
Okay.
So let's go walk and then change directions
Okay.
and do it in the other side.
Okay. Wait. Oh, sorry. That was an accident. He's like, I'll take it. And then I want to walk on right there, just so he doesn't think
Okay,
he has
good.
to stop there every time.
Which is perfect.
Good.
And I like that you're catching those patterns, because we create patterns a lot quicker than we think. They're like, why are you stopping there? So it's good to keep mental notes of what you did last time and where you stopped. So think about that. I mean, I'll clear that up in a minute, but I don't want you to think about what he does, where his tricky spot is, but I do want you to draw attention to when he does the tricky spot correctly.
But see how there's just a little less fluidity in that direction?
Yep.
Good.
It's less sideways and more forward, kind of,
Well,
and a little
it's just sticky.
uneven.
Yeah, it's sticky. Like if you count it, if you go from center line to H, on this side it's going to be 11 steps. On this side it's going to be 9. And I need it to be 9 and 9 or 11 and 11.
Yeah.
But I would rather have it be 9 and 9 because you're going to get more crossover, if that
Yes.
makes sense.
I sure do, because as you could see, that's where he just was kind of, I'm stepping over as opposed to a big reaching over.
Yes.
But realizing that there may be some physical components in it,
There is.
the more we can get him liking. And so what I would do is when he does a step that you feel like, well, that one was a little bit better, I want you to stop and feed
Okay.
it. So we kind of draw extra attention to it. Good. So what we want to do, remember earlier we talked about extinction burst?
Yes.
Well, a little bit it plays into here, because as they build, or the whole process of that, because as they build a good, strong reinforcement history with something, they then anticipate that they're going to get reinforced for it. So the more we build a good reinforcement history, and he thinks, I love this, I get reinforced for this, and then he's going along and he's not getting the click where he normally thinks, then a lot of times they reach a little bit harder and try a little bit more. So we don't want it to go to the point of frustration, because it can go to the point of frustration if we're really on an extinction schedule. But it is that concept of, this has always worked for me, I'm going to try a little bit harder to see if I can get something out of it.
So how long would you wait? Like, okay, so that's a really neat point. So how long would you wait? Like right now, I'm thinking that you just want me to keep clicking when it's good.
Yes, I do, because we need to build a stronger reinforcement history with it. So he thinks, I love this behavior. I love this behavior. So you look on, still reinforcing something that you like, but a lot of times then that reinforcement history can build to actually more effort and more try. So he'll stretch himself to his comfort zone, as opposed to the kind of backing off of it a little bit.
So almost like in the stationary behavior, it would be almost like building duration, kind of.
Yes. Okay. It's one of the things I quite liked about under saddle stuff. And I remember when I was first teaching Mint to collect, and Vinton saying, it takes a long time for a horse to get the concept of collect, let alone the muscles that go with it. And so I was like, okay, fair enough. But Minty, because he was doing the collecting, I wasn't creating it, he got it much better than he got it. I got a little entrenched. He got it much better, much quicker, because he was the one that was stretching himself. So he was creating the motion. So he got in shape quicker because he was actually working himself. He was trying
instead of you trying to make him go into some sort of physical frame and putting a bunch of band-aids on it to make it look good.
Yes, he was really thinking, I'm going to try and get this a little better. So he was reaching under, he was doing it. I didn't have to do it. And that's really a big difference if you think about traditional training and them creating it, becoming invested in the outcome of the training, which is what positive reinforcement really does.
No, a bit more. So would you have fed him there because he stopped on his own, or?
No.
Okay, just checking.
And he kind of, it wasn't they got a little bit, out of balance a little bit. So I think it was a good one. Just go, let's just try again. Because even though we're going to take little steps building, but we still want it to be a little bit in the right direction. It might not be as big as we want, but we say that's a tiny bit better, and that's a tiny bit better until as we build it. So we don't want to compromise the criteria. We still want to work on the criteria, but taking it in small steps. But as it gets a stronger reinforcement history, the more he'll try and think, I love this. And when I'm working on a good side and a not good side, or better here, not so good there, I reinforce much more on the trickier side. So he's like, I want to do that side. So he becomes his favorite side.
There he is, a much softer.
Very good.
That was much softer. He got a lot softer.
You can see everything kind of went into it, and he focused a little bit more on what he was doing. And that's the point, is a lot of times what is so nice about the bridge signal is the bridge signal lets us draw attention to the finite little movements. So if we're feeling like, the back hind or whatever, when we feel that one leg, we can go, that's the one. And he thinks, which one was it? What was I doing? And then he can start concentrating on that. When I work on square halts with people, a lot of times everybody's fussing with their faces and trying to get, this. And what is the horse thinking about? He's thinking about, yes, he's thinking about the bridle and the contact that he's getting. But so I'll just pick out the leg that tends to be the issue even, because a lot of times it is the one leg won't, the hind leg or whatever. And I draw attention to that leg, and you can see them kind of going, oh, I must think about where is my leg. So it's nice because we can draw attention to the part we're trying to correct, when I think sometimes traditional training can actually distract them from what we're trying to do. He's thinking, well, I don't understand. And that's where it's perfect with dressage, because dressage is full of little nuances. Tiny adjustments. Yes.
And the thing I really liked about that last one, because he knows how to do it all, but he got soft and he used himself a lot differently than he did on the other ones, I thought.
And I think that is perfect, because that's what's going to lead to him doing it better, is the relaxed effort, as opposed to the overthinking it and getting himself stiff.
I didn't like that one quite as much.
Yep, but keep in mind, while you had one really nice one, it doesn't mean he 100% has it. So you can take a little bit and go, this maybe it's still an improvement. Maybe it's not improvement on that one, but if it's still improvement going that direction, you can take some of those still to keep the attitude good.
Good boy.
So perfect. So sometimes when we get one, we then go, that's my new criteria, and it was an accident on his part, But so I still kind of go, okay, well, generally we're still moving in a good direction until that soft, nice one becomes the norm.
Okay.
And we don't have to drill it either. We can move on and do other stuff. So he can give him a little bit of break from that and let him process that.
Sure.
Which, especially if he has a physical component to it, it can be new muscles and kind of, a little bit more challenging. So really good.
All right, cool. Well, while we're at it, then I know halts are something that challenge a lot of people, and they can be very challenging for him because his right hind, he wants to keep it out to help balance, and
Yep.
and so if he's really through, and if he's really on the bit and everything, no problem. He stops great, right? But he does have that tendency, even in his own time, to stop without a rider, even with his right hind out. So we could look at that a little bit if you want.
Yep, I think that's good. And it's a lot of times I find it is typically there is a tendency towards one leg. It's not the cooperative leg for people. Not in his case it's a physical thing, but a lot of times it's just I think it's more of a lazy habit for horses. So we can definitely work on that.
I'm sorry, I should have warmed up longer. All right, good.
Yep.
And he moved.
And you know what? For now, I would say the adjustment of the right hind should even be taken. So that you're saying moving that leg is the first step.
Okay.
So it's not going to be your perfect square halt. But if he's thinking about moving that leg, say, yes, it has to do with this leg.
Okay.
And then we can kind of sort that out a little bit more.
So if he halts square, just tell me so that I don't take the time to think about it. And then in that moment, he goes, oh, I didn't do it right. Do you know what I mean? Because if I'll drop my body a little bit, he'll go, oh, I got it right. All right. You're right. Good.
And so I bridged that one. Good.
Yes.
Because he thought about where the leg was. So it wasn't perfect, but you could see it was dropped back, and they thought, I think I need this up here. And we want to start and say, and there he's nice.
Good.
Good. So so trying to help him to think about that leg and correcting that leg, which it looks like he is thinking about it.
He is, but what you find is that, see how he moved like that? If you don't pretty quick say something, which I can't really say at X, like if I'm not really quick to drop my body and go, okay, that was perfect, then he's moving around thinking I'm waiting for that spot where she's going to give me the bridge, and I'm not really sure how to make that go away. Does that make sense? He'll most of the time stop, but then he goes, was that right? And then he's like,
so he's second guessing himself.
Yes.
Okay. So what we need to do is get him where he has a nice square halt and just build duration on that, I think. And so do what you can that helps him to create the square halt. And then we'll reinforce him for the square halt, and then we're going to build duration and keeping it still.
That's what we need.
So in his case, I think less drawing attention to the leg moving.
Okay.
When a lot of times the horses stop and they're like, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
And so you do need him to adjust, but he is thinking about adjusting.
That's my problem.
Too much.
Yeah. I've overtrained it, I believe.
Yeah. So do what you can to try and create the nice square halt so that we get them kind of consistently if we can. See, not square.
I'm not going to say anything, though, because I don't want him to start dancing.
Yep, I think that's good.
He's dancing.
He's going to pee off in a second.
No.
But you can see he's trying all over the place to sort this out.
There. Yeah, just he was still. Is that okay?
Yep, and that's exactly it. So that's kind of the opposite of when you have a horse who stops and just leaves one leg out. You need them to think about that adjustment. He is too adjusty, so we need to think about him being still. So we can take that first and then work on getting the square
Right, because
halt.
most of the time, I mean, 99% of the time in the test, I've already warmed up much better than I did today, and he's on. He's,
Uh-huh.
he's under me, he's between my aids, he's on, and he's gonna stop square. But if I'm
Yeah.
not terribly careful, he's like, oh, it wasn't right, and he
Yeah.
tries to fix it. So I'm the fastest saluter in the South.
And out. Over and out.
Good boy. See what I mean?
Yep, I totally see it. 100%. Even though
Good.
he had some dancing in between, we still need to draw attention to the part that is right. And the part that is right is he finally stood still and stopped all his adjustments, pulling all his stuff everywhere. And mostly his hind feet he adjusts. But I think that we just need to draw attention to the stillness first and then refine it to a little bit more. We'd be picky about what kind of the square ones versus the a little bit off ones. But yeah, I see exactly what you mean. That he's just, I mean, he's doing the hokey pokey over there.
He is. I mean, even probably even here, if we do it from the walk, he's still just like, is it right? I mean, he's so he tries
Yes,
so hard. He's a pleaser if he's nothing else in life.
he's a helpy helperton. Click.
Oh, shoot.
Just walk on and try again. And you can do it kind of right away if you need to, wherever you think it's going to be best for him. So if on this side is a little straighter.
Come on, you got to at least be in the bit a little bit here.
Okay, so just waiting for him to stop with all those bits and get the bits to stop moving is when I wanted to reinforce it. Hi, I'm going to give you a cookie. There you go.
And this is real. I mean, this is something that I do by myself, the same thing, and I have to make a decision on, is he really still enough right there? Does he think I clicked him because he danced?
Yes, I think it, if we keep getting this still and then build the duration, because I think the longer you wait, the more he
Okay,
second
so the
guesses
first
it.
minute he gets still is a good time to click and
Yes.
say, ding.
And then start working on a little teeny bit of duration with
Okay.
that. But it's going to be a tiny bit at first because you can tell, see, like even there, now he's not paying attention because he's doing other things. But it's okay. I mean, he's cookie and we're talking, so he doesn't feel the kind of tension of it. But it's okay. If he could just stand there with his feet still, it's still a good thing. So it's, and this is, I think, what is so hard for people is people want the whole package, and we have to say, okay, where is the issue, and where can we pull that apart first, and say this is the first part, and I know it's not maybe perfectly square, but for now it's not moving, and then we can get the other parts. And for some, it has to come first, But for him, you can really see that he starts thinking, well, I'm going to adjust all my pieces, so we need him to just learn just. When you stop, you've got it. And then we can work on now what does a stop look like. But for now, I think it has to be his confidence
So here's
about it.
another question that I've played with, okay? So I've been like, what if I halt drop the reins? Because then he will stop.
Okay, do that.
To chunk it down a little more, but it doesn't solve my end problem of I need you to stand at X and be in a frame and stand still, but I thought it might be a starting place.
It's exactly what it is, because we want to do what we can do to set him up for success. So if it sets him up for success to do the right thing, I say we
Okay,
take that.
we'll try it.
And we say, okay, we just need to stop. Just stop. And then you can drop them a little bit less and a little bit less. But again, we're going to start building that reinforcement history with just stopping and staying where you are, keeping stuff where it is. And he'll start to think, well, this has been working for me, so I'm going to go towards that. So I always try and keep in mind, if any behavior increases and then maintains a frequency, he thinks it's working for him. So he still dances a little bit. But now he's nice and straight.
Okay, we'll do it again.
Okay.
I was trying to be quick, but you see, he's very quick. He's
Yes,
like,
he is.
I can do this. I know what you want. And I think this is really indicative of what happens with a lot of folks on the ground too. You know,
Yes.
they overtrain it and then they don't know where to go with it, and then no, he did it again, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, kind of right at the bridge.
So quick. You got to be
Yeah.
less quick. And I didn't even do a frame because I thought, well, maybe that would help. But not
Wait, he just said it. Or now, does he do it as much if you walk him up to something?
he pretty much anywhere.
Okay.
You know, for some reason I show better that I ride at home for the most part, so I'm a little more. Technically, not position wise, but just kind of technically, I'm a little better rider in the show pen than I am at home, and so I don't really have the problem. Yeah, isn't that weird? But pretty much anywhere I'm gonna stop at home, I can run him into P and see what happens here.
Sometimes, yeah, a click. Oh.
Good boy, good boy, good
Okay.
boy.
So I don't know what. So he did adjust still a little bit, but you got a moment of still. So I
Okay.
think we need to take the moment still, build him at still. What I was kind of hoping, sometimes either looking at something can distract him from overthinking where his feet are, or it can be, well, there's nowhere else to go, so I'm going to settle here a little bit, depending. It's just one of those things you can try and see. And whatever we need to do for setting them up for success, we fade, as soon as we get the reinforcement history built a little bit more.
Okay. Did I move on or should I wait it out?
I'd wait it out. Click.
Good boy.
So I think we just need to let him kind of sort through it. It's like when I have a baby who's learning to lunge, and then if they're playing and playing and playing and playing, and they have wild transitions, I just go, I don't care. And then when they kind of settle into a nice canter, I go, well, that I like. And a lot of times they learn the quicker I settle, the quicker I can get reinforced. So I would go down this path with
Okay.
him for a little bit, just saying the sooner you stop all your moving, the sooner you can get reinforced. So give it a beat or two, and then a beat or three, and then but moving up slowly. But I think it will help to tell him that the standing still is what we need first. So just stop all your dancing and corrections. Just settle in a little bit. And even no matter when you do it, where you do it, how you do it, whatever it is, but help him to think about that when I'm standing with all 4 feet on the ground, because he doesn't seem like he has a moment where he's just always thinking about it. But when he has the moments where he keeps it still, reinforce him for that and build on that. And I think it'll help. Because even like right there, he's like, well, I think I should do something. So I'll try a little this, I'll try a little that.
And I do a lot of just stop, stand, or I used to. But then I was like, oh, we don't need to do this anymore. We're kind of past it. And now it seems to be resurfacing, especially with all the tension. We got new people, we got new horses. You're in the middle of the ring. It's windy. It hasn't been ridden in 10 days. And so what you're seeing is him under anxiety, which is good because that's probably what's truly, do you know what I mean? That's his default behavior. And I'm probably able to cover over it on a calmer day.
Yes. And it'll help him when it is, it can help him to relax a little bit, because I do feel like he loses his own confidence. I think he kind of just trying to do a bit more. Relax. And keep it in with your normal everything else you need to do, but blend it in a bit where you're doing the going forward and the stopping, then go on to something else. But then I would kind of pepper it in there places so that he can get the idea about you can kind of work it over time.
Sure, because you can work it through your whole ride, your warm-up and your actual ride, and not make a big deal out of it, because I also fear making the big deal out of it. It's going to make it worse.
And I do think that because he's such a thinker, that if it's the task, he may get a little bit more worked on it a little bit. You know, I guess head may start kind of rev himself up a little bit. So play with it a little bit,
Okay.
see what you can do that helps him out, whatever, you know, maybe on a different day when it's not so much here. But then we still need to go to this place where things escalate a little bit and he can focus and keep it together. But I think it's really, that's a great thing to mix in there for him.
Well, and I think just a testament that he's as calm as he is a testament to the food and clear training today, because today's a
Yes.
very fresh day
Yes,
with a
it
lot
is.
going
It's
on.
windy and cool,
So,
and yep, and like you said, he has new visitor, everything. Because he was looking around going, "Who are you? What's that? What is this? Where are you going? What?"
okay, super. Well, I think that gives us a good bit to work on. Thank you.
Yeah, certainly.
All
Love
right,
him.
awesome.
You guys are terrific.
Thank you.
What's he talking about over
I
there?
don't know. Well, so, oh my gosh, kind of horrible because he wasn't on the bit and all that. But
You know what? But I don't think that really matters.